Is that showing? Yeah.
Oh yeah, you see it. Yeah.
Okay, so for my presentation, I'm going to focus on a more lower level of analyzing the contracts for a yield farm. And obviously, as it happens, a yield farm starting in just a couple of days is Aladdin DAO itself. So say you've decided with your due diligence that you want to earn some ALD tokens in the fair launch part. So you want to analyze the contracts to see if they're safe. So the basic contract is a master chef. There's a few modifications, but nothing major. It's emitting 500 ALD per block at the start into 6 equal pools, out of which 2 of them are native token or death pools, I suppose, including ETH ALD and USDC ALD, as well as 4 Aladdin Vault token pools. The vaults being Curve 3 pool, Curve Seth, Curve Ren BTC, Sushi and Sushi F BTC SLP tokens. The 4 Vault tokens, the underlying curve pools are all very big, and the Sushi one as well. The TVLs are in the 400 million to 1 billion range. Whereas for the native tokens, because they have not been seeded, there's no money in them at the minute. Well, there's a little bit in the a small test amount in the ETH ALD pool, and nothing yet in the USDC one. But some will probably be added by the team in the next couple of days before farming starts. So the contract itself, obviously the base contract of MasterChef has been proven safe, but we need to check for any differences. In particular, there are the right functions that affect user deposits, user funds. They are deposit, withdraw, emergency withdraw, and claim all. So going through and checking them one by one, you can see that they all use the message sender to do the operations. So there's no way for a contract owner or a third party to affect any user deposits. There's no risk at all there. As well as the rest of the functions involved, there's functions to add new pools, change some parameters, but importantly, there's no migrate function like there was in the original Sushi, which can be used to transfer user funds. There's no rescue function or anything like that. So if you send a token by mistake, it's going to stay there forever. But there's no risk as far as the MasterChef pools are concerned. Now, the Aladdin Vault tokens, they obviously carry smart contract risk themselves, because what happens is first you get the curve token, which obviously is a complicated smart contract itself, but it has been tested for quite some time, so we can assume that's safe. But then you have to deposit that into the Aladdin DAO vault. Now, the vault is controlled by the controller. The controller takes the funds from the vault and uses the strategies to see where it's going to deposit into farm, and then also from the strategies takes the profits and invest them. Finally, these are controlled by governance. So we've got 4 different contracts that we need to analyze here. And then, of course, if we pass over the underlying contracts, which is the curve ones. So after all that, get into the farm strategy. So the first 2 pools, the native token pools, are going to have crazy high API, of course, on day one, because it's just like Sushi when that launched. There's no tokens around at the start, so the pools are going to be empty. So they're going to be paying a lot of tokens versus the amount of tokens in them, which means their price could go crazy high. And then, especially on day one, it is going to be incredibly high risk to invest. And then as the days go by, it should stabilize. The vault pools, on the other hand, you can pre-stake, which is good. So you can have your funds ready for when they start. The APIs will also be quite high, but there's hardly any risk, because you're not worried about your funds changing in price. So a couple of possible strategies here. An active one would be to farm the vault pools, claim your out as soon as there's enough to not lose too much to gas, and then use it to provide liquidity, possibly by selling half in the two native pools, and then just continue compounding. Or a passive strategy could be to simply just farm on the vault pools and then just claim your ALD as you go whenever you want. And as a little bonus, then the vfat page for the above farm. That's it.
Thank you. You made a page yourself. Cool. Very nice.
Nice.
But you didn't, I did ask Shirley some time back. You didn't look at is there any like audit of these contracts?
Yes, I did look. There's two audits by Cetic and Peck Shield, and they've both been acted on.
Because I like to read audits somehow. It's just that's what I do most. I don't be so active as a farmer. I like to read audits somehow. Yeah.
Normally, what I do is I look through them myself, and then when something comes up, I'll check the audit. Like on these ones, I saw that the fees can be set by governance, and I saw that there are checks so that the fees can't go over 100%, but they're still allowed to go up to 100%. This isn't a risk in the case of Aladdin DAO because obviously it's controlled by the multi-sig, where you need 6 people to sign. So it's impossible to get 6 people to sign to make the fees 100%. But smart contract wise, it is possible. So then I had a look in the audits for this, and the audits did mention to put these fees minimum and maximum in a certain range, but they only mentioned to make sure they're under 100%, not to make them a bit more reasonable, like a maximum fee of 5% or something.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. Other questions?
Yeah, I think it's very good analysis. No wonder why vfat has been asking me questions about Aladdin DAO today.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He asked me too. No, he asked in our chat if it's there more. Yeah.
Yeah, he checked with our developer as well. So very comprehensive due diligence.
Cool. Yeah. I have a question. But if you do, I did farm, but I'm more like a pre-farmer somehow. I'm not farming actively anymore. But if you are in a pool 1, what's the strategy there to farm? You wait, you have like your capital, and then you use it, and then do you look how the price changes, or do you have like a preset timing? You say if I have enough, if I've doubled, or I have a target API of, I don't know, the first day of 10%, and then I'm going to de-risk and sell it off, or how do you calculate it, or do you do it just if you farm on your feelings, or?
Yeah, it's hard to say. A lot of it is by feel. Yeah, it depends a lot on the liquidity, really. If it's a low liquidity, I will also only invest a little bit myself, and then increase or sell accordingly. I will always keep it as a small percentage of the pool.
Okay. But you don't calculate this. You just, you also could like make zero, you can make like this cone of uncertainty. You can make a prediction of the price maybe 2 days later, and then you have you can calculate the impermanent loss you take, and then make a strategy out of this. I think there are people out there that are doing this like this. They analyze this and then they make much more. You sound like you do it more like, you decide on the go. You see how it develops and then you react, but you don't have you don't calculate at the end.
No, I don't use price predictions. No.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Okay. Yeah, interesting. I was thinking like the pro farmers, they do, you know, they have like a huge balance sheet somewhere where they calculate all the stuff, and then you could also like automate this somehow, you know, then you don't have to decide yourself, somebody. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
For